So this is the official start of what is part 2 of the MCU Phase 3 podcast. So this is your spoiler warning. If you have not seen Spider-Man Far From Home, please stop listening and come back. But in this moment, we will spoil everything that has to do with Spider-Man Far From Home. So go away.
I can't believe Green Goblin was in it, man. That was great.
Fake spoilers.
So can we first talk about that beginning scene? Just how they... Okay, so when Michael and I saw it in theaters, the beginning when they have the very badly made slideshow commemorating all the ones that died...
I thought I was being trolled.
Loved
I was like,
so did I.
Am I at the right movie? And then it made sense when it like zoomed out into like the kids' newscasting. I was like, oh my god, that is the best. Because I thought Marvel was trying to do like some in memoriam thing, and I was like, this is so below their budget. It's actually insane.
I had flashbacks to high school TV production when you would like make the morning announcements. Whew.
So
it was great. I especially love the fact where they did like a recap of like who's still their age and who his little brother became older than him. Yeah. It was perfect.
You know, that part where they show the kids dusting in the like basketball video, that was horrifying. Like,
yeah.
my heart was like, yo.
but then it was hilarious when they went back and the marching.
But like that could be a whole horror movie in itself. Is like seeing like video footage of people who are like probably taking a picture with someone and they just go.
Yeah,
that'd be insane.
That scene. I'm glad they did address the snap / the blip, which they call it.
That's funny.
It still irks me because, and that scene, the basketball scene, shows that I was right. And also, Peter comes back and he's like, "Oh, I appeared on a planet and I was confused." And Dr. Strange was like, "Come with me." And like, you know what I'm talking about?
So wait. You think that line doesn't?
No.
Like,
No. Sorry. Let me clarify.
Okay.
So what I think is funny is so you appear in the position that you left from. Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Right.
So, what about people in planes?
Oh,
Yeet.
oh, well maybe.
Because even
That's another horror film.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, you literally see planes fall out of the sky, like planes and helicopters. So.
People still died.
So what about all the people that blipped back and then fell to their death? Or like
This just turned a really.
I would like to believe that they appeared somewhere else.
I don't think they did. This podcast has made a big turn.
Sorry, guys. But like, as funny as I loved that scene, it just brought back that like, oh my god, wait, people died.
That start.
Okay, let's move on to this topic. I don't like where this is going.
Cool. Onwards.
I love Mysterio. I thought he was very good. So here's the thing. I knew close to nothing about him other than the fact that apparently he was going to be a villain, so of course him turning didn't surprise me. What I loved was that the entire time, I had no idea where this was going. I had some idea that maybe he was lying about the alternate dimension thing, but I had no idea how he was selling it. I had no idea how all of this was being very convincing and all that, because I coming in with a lack of knowledge about the character, and then just seeing Jake Gyllenhaal really become the superhero version of Nightcrawler was just so satisfying that he pulled off this whole stunt, and he's really demanding of all his employees, and he's happy with them, but then he threatens to kill them, and he's really running this like he's running a news broadcast, like he has all these cameras. It really is like a pseudo sequel to Nightcrawler, and I just found that so fascinating. And then what he does at the end, which we'll also get into later, also loved almost everything about Mysterio.
Yeah.
Great villain. Really quick, to give you a little information on who Mysterio is typically in comic books, is in the past he's often been a movie special effect artist or a like ex-movie special effect artist. I liked this spin where he was a Tony Stark employee and like his entire team were like bashed or belittled by Tony Stark / his company. I wondered if they were ever going to bring up Barf again. The bioneural something, whatever. Because I thought that was something that was brought up that was never addressed again, and I'm glad that was how that was brought in. Just like that scene in the bar where everything starts, all the holograms melt away, is one of the best reveals. Go ahead.
I I tried to come into movies blind, so I kind of had an idea that Mysterio was going to be a villain, but also I was very confused at the start of the movie, where I even turned to Michael and I was like, isn't he supposed to be bad? I'm very confused as to why he's portraying himself as good. So when that reveal happened, I was like, oh, yes, everything makes sense now. Like, the whole lead up to it was very intricate, in my opinion, and very well done. Even had me fooled, and I had an idea that he was a villain. So I was very curious as to how it was going to turn out. But yeah, the hologram thing, I was in shock. I was like, oh no, Peter messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been waiting to see Mysterio as a villain on screen since Spider-Man 2, the movie video game. Oh my god, when you would go against Mysterio and he would do like his it wasn't hologram, but it was just special effects, and he would like mess with Peter in the game. I was like, dude, this would be so awesome as a movie. And then when I would see those actual effects being applied in this film, I was dying. I was like, this is amazing. Like the illusions and everything that he was doing against him was, I don't know, it just like made me very happy.
Can we talk about the fact that he tried to kill Peter by making him run over by a train?
Yeah, because he survived that.
Yeah, that's what I'm confused about. I'm assuming he used his spidey sense or he stuck to something, but
his plot armor.
But I was like, how is he not dead? How does he not have eternal bleeding or broken bones?
It's really funny because I was actually fooled that Nick Fury like shot him. Like I was really fooled. I was like, Nick Fury actually got him. Like they're gonna probably put him in jail and he's probably gonna escape. But like, nope, Nick Fury was also a hologram the entire time. That is insane.
Yeah.
That scene, the confrontation and what turns out to be a construction warehouse thing, I think, is brilliant. Like,
extreme.
And it just exemplified how powerful. Not just Mysterio, but everything that he controls now is. Because what I liked about both Far From Home and Homecoming is it's basically just Peter picking up after Tony, like low-key. Because Homecoming, which by the way also great villain, Vulture and Mysterio, both villains that are not widely regarded as incredible Spider-Man villains, were incredible in the MCU. Vulture's entire thing was it's all the tech that was brought there by the invasion, and like Tony had to take care of the security and effectively did not. And then Mysterio like literally controlling Tony's as he would want to say a suit of armor around the earth is like just doubles down on Peter's like step up into a more important position. I loved it.
So interesting enough, I heard about an interview that Tom Holland did, and he said that there's a scene in the movie that people are really gonna hate, and I think that scene is when he gives Mysterio the Edith glasses.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because it was just so out of place. It was just like, yeah, let me give you the defense system around the world to this guy I just met maybe like a night or two ago. I don't know. Like, if anything, I could have seen him giving it to, like, Nick Fury, but obviously he doesn't trust Nick Fury that much because Nick Fury could, like, go crazy anytime and just destroy the world as well. So.
I feel like it made sense because of the pressure he was under.
Agree.
He was put on this sort of pedestal after Iron Man died, where it was, you are Iron Man now, you have to help us, you have to do everything. And he's just a 16-year-old kid who just wants to hang out with this girl he really likes.
That first scene.
Yeah, it's like, think of yourself at 16, where all you want to do is just hang out with your friends and be, a teen doing things at the mall or just playing video games, and he's not able to have a normal life or go on vacation. So I feel like it made sense for him to give the glasses up because he said, okay, I am completely unqualified for this. Like, Nick Fury's already, like, on top of me over everything that I've done wrong and doing wrong, and I feel like I've messed up too many times. So maybe you can do it since you have powers, and you seem like a good Iron Man substitute instead of me.
I don't know. All I can say is that if I was 16, I'd rather be Spider-Man than the boy I was.
I honestly, I think we all say that, but when in reality we are given that responsibility, it's something that would be a lot to carry on our shoulders. I want to address something though. So this ends up being it ends up being linked to, of all movies, Captain Marvel, which was interesting with the reveal that Nick Fury and Maria are Skrulls.
Yes.
Which I liked. I did not. I think it had a lot of opportunity for people to not like it, but I love Ben Mendelsohn in that role, and I love showing Nick Fury on the ship and dealing with all that. But I want to address a more wider ranging topic. So. I didn't make the connection between the two until we started this podcast. So Captain Marvel was about dealing with an enemy, or at least who you think is an enemy, who can literally become anyone, who can just see something, see a person, and become that. Spider-Man Far From Home then deals with a reality where you can just create whatever environment you want to and become individuals. Both these movies are making us question reality. And I think that I don't even know if I like this direction for the MCU. If the entire MCU starts becoming this train on, is what you're seeing real? Are the people you're doing real? Is what you're experiencing real? I don't know what I would think about that. It's just an fascinating topic to bring up.
Hashtag Secret War arc. Calling it now. But I mean, that's like in the comic books. That's all the Secret War is. It's everybody questioning everybody. I have so many theories about like things that they've done to set up the Secret War. The fact that Nick Fury, in this movie at least, in how many movies we don't know, was a Skrull, brings attention to the fact that the Russo brothers did state that one of the Avengers is a Skrull. So was it Nick Fury, or is one of the Avengers still a Skrull?
Do we have bets on who we think it would be?
I do.
It's Tony. I'm kidding.
I have a very long, and I can make it short as possible, thing. I think Falcon, the next Captain America, is a Skrull.
I agree.
To run you through everything. So in Captain Marvel, it's stated that Skrulls can't copy long-term memories. The way Cap meets Falcon, he didn't need long-term memories. All he needed to know was the dude was a pilot.
Wait, so hold on. So you're saying Falcon is a Skrull from the beginning of their relationship?
Either from the beginning of their relationship, or he's very easily replaced, because I don't think Cap and him like really dove into each other's past. At least they don't show that on screen.
I mean, they also could just be like talking about Nick Fury, because Nick Fury is technically
I know, but bear with me. So he could have been from the get-go, which can make sense because either Skrulls want to invade, so it would make sense that he would want to be a part of the Avengers because it's a powerful force. Also, there is in certain comic book series, if a Skrull is a human for too long, they forget that they're a Skrull. And can be reactivated.
Here's a question. So are you saying that the Falcon had the knowledge of Marvin Gaye's album from 1972 or 73 to give to Captain America in The Winter Soldier?
Ooh, maybe.
It could be researched.
I mean, I don't know. For me, I hate going too deep into like comics for these movies.
Yeah, I agree.
Always never go with conspiracy theories. Like the thing I try to do the least is to look at conspiracy videos on YouTube for movies like these.
This is something I've come up with.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying. Like, in general, like, whenever you like people try to like connect too many strings from the comics to the movies, it just never happens.
Well,
you hate conspiracy theories? Well, here's one for you.
This is the reason. The reason I think this is because Secret War is a really great arc, plus the whole Russo thing. Because Nick Fury is not an Avenger. I would like that to be clear, but I'm curious if that's what they were referring to. Really quick to run through. The Hail Hydra moment in Endgame is a moment that is alluding to a moment in a comic book, and I'm not drawing too hard, where Captain America legitimately is a traitor. He is a Hydra agent. That's a real thing that happens in a comic book series. So I think they're alluding to a moment in which Captain America figure betrays the Avengers. To double down on more stuff, Bucky is referred to as White Wolf at the end of Black Panther. In almost every arc where he's referred to as White Wolf, he does eventually take up the mantle of Captain America. Then, and the reason he wasn't given Captain America in this arc is because he's still struggling with his whole mind issue, and he doesn't know if he's even worthy to protect America when he has been an enemy of America for so long. So what I think, and none of this is fact, what I think is Falcon will be Captain America. Falcon will then turn out to be a Skrull, not a good scroll, because it has been stated that there are not good scrolls and there are good scrolls. Bucky will have to stop him, thus earning the right to be Captain America and then take up the mantle.
Agreed.
So you think this would play out in the TV show? Because they're going to have a TV show together, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
It could.
It's not even going to give him a movie. They're going to give him a TV show. That's so worth it.
I mean, parts of it could. I think that'll just be like a way to set up them as being closer, and maybe you see Falcon grow as Captain America, but then in a movie, I think it would happen.
Okay, I don't think Marvel has the balls to pull that off. I don't think they're going to try that.
I don't think Marvel should be doing TV shows at all.
Well, I mean, that's...
Because, like,
yeah.
hold on. Here's my thing. I watched the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just so I could watch, like, little things happen in the movies. And it was just not worth it for me, in my opinion. And not only that, but it's like, they did, like, Daredevil and Jessica Jones and all those really great TV shows and pretty much just kind of canned them away from the films. So I don't know if I really feel like subscribing to some streaming platform and having to watch, like, 100 episodes till the next movie so I can actually, like, you know, catch on to, like, a quippy line or something. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's just more effort into already effortful, like, thing to watch all these movies.
I do understand that perspective, because I do understand that being the Marvel Cinematic Universe, making it as cinematic as possible is really key. Yeah. However, I think Marvel is now going to have the advantage. Before, the big thing about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was, oh my God, Coulson's alive and he's the leader of this show, and that was the bridge between the movies. The bridge is getting even wider and bigger in terms of the movies and the TV shows with Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki, which is far and away the one I'm most excited for.
And it's also the one that matters the least, because it is in a different timeline.
Absolutely. And Scarlet Witch and Vision, and these major characters that we've spent many movies getting to know, there's going to be more of a need or more of an urge for people, I think, to go back to it. Mm-hmm. But I want to touch on the most interesting part about Far From Home that really encapsulates why the MCU is so successful. Yeah. So the whole idea about Far From Home being the last movie about Phase 3 is that this is going to really be the cap, and then we're going to just take a break, and we're just going to rest for a little bit on these Marvel movies, because they're going to come back, but we're taking a little bit of a break. Next one's coming out, I think, May 2020, which is actually the longest time in like 3 or 4 years. But what they do to you, man, with these end credit scenes, this has, for my money, maybe the best mid-credit scene of all time.
Yes.
So not
legitimate.
So it is not only the fact that Spider-Man and MJ are getting closer, and it is not even just the fact that they brought back J.K. Simmons for J. Jonah Jameson, who they say you can't replace him. He's got to be the one. And I also like the fact that he's not connected to the Raimi ones, because that would open up a whole other can of worms. No. It's not any of that. It's the fact that they straight up say, they have Mysterio say, "Hey, New York, Spider-Man is Peter Parker."
Also, he's evil.
Yeah.
Also, they establish him as bad.
And then it cuts, and you create that urgency. It's the same urgency that you get from watching Infinity War and seeing the characters, and you're like, wait, oh, that's it? Oh, we got to move forward now. It's the urgency that makes you need to come back and see it again. That's what makes Endgame literally must-see entertainment, and it's just incredible the way they sell their future movies.
Agreed.
That scene... like the usual arc or the usual thing you hear from Spider-Man, he works for the Daily Bugle. For this man.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm very excited to see what direction they're going to take him now, because obviously he's not going to be hired by this man anymore.
Yeah.
His future career is messed up now.
When he was swinging through the city and like on his phone and he took a picture of himself, I was like, oh, cool. Are they going to do the Daily Bugle thing?
Yeah.
So then the whole thing where he comes on screen and you're like, oh my God, Daily Bugle. and they say like Spider-Man's bad, and I was like, it'll work. And then immediately it's like, by the way, he's Peter Parker, and you're like, oh, never mind.
Also, they choose the worst picture of him to put on this news site.
I think that's sort of on purpose.
Yeah, and
because it's the high school aspect.
And apart from that, let's talk about the fact that he's in the middle of Times Square when this happens. Mm-hmm. They all saw him with this girl, so now they're just like, what's he gonna do to get out of this? Like, I really want to see.
I feel like, well, first of all, I saw the movie at a 12 a.m. showing on a Tuesday, and then I went 22 hours later to see it again, because I saw that J.K. Simmons was in the mid-credits, and I was like, I have to like rewatch this to make sure that I have seen what I have seen. But I feel like, because we live in this like world of like fake news, I feel like he can easily just debunk it and be like, no, I'm just a normal kid.
But here's the thing, though. in this world of fake news, it is very difficult to get everybody, or even close to everybody, to convince them that you are not evil. Because when fake news spreads, it spreads like a virus, and people really do start to believe that, which is what is so fascinating about it. There's always going to be people that are going to think he's evil now.
And that was also the point of the movie.
I'm more saying like the Peter Parker being Spider-Man thing rather than him being evil, because I can see people thinking that Spider-Man's evil, but I can easily see him being like, no, I was on a trip with my friends this entire time, and I'm not actually Spider-Man. And I think that would make a great like relationship with him going to work for like the Daily Bugle, because he could be under J.K. Simmons' nose, and he could be like, are you sure you're not Spider-Man? Because every time I send you out, and you're like, you come back with these scars. You know what I'm trying to say here?
Flash Thompson's going to come out and be like, Spider-Man was in Europe when Peter Parker was in Europe, and he's going to tell everyone.
But it was
he's on social media. He's an attention whore.
Spider Monkey, wasn't it, or Night Monkey?
Night Monkey.
Yeah.
Night Monkey.
but it was definitely Spider-Man the second time because he's wearing a Spider-Man
London.
suit.
Yeah.
You work for Spider-Man? I don't work for Spider-Man. I work with Spider-Man.
I loved that the concept behind Mysterio is people will believe anything.
Yes.
Because that's how it starts. That's how it starts with him getting into Nick Fury / Skrullhead. You know what I mean? Like, it starts because he spins this, or he gets somebody to spin a web that says, like, he's from a different dimension. And even says it's stupid enough to believe. So, starting the movie with making a villain that says, like, anybody will believe anything, to ending it with, like, him either Mysterio placing that, like, planning that footage well in advance, or the dude who downloads schematics at the end doing that, like, just brings that entire arc full circle to showing you that how much control he has / had over people's perceptions.
You still think Mysterio's alive? I feel like he is. I feel like
I agree.
Because I mean, like, have you ever heard like people that like stop their heartbeat in like movies, and then they're like, "Oh, I thought you were dead," and they come back later. I feel like he could possibly be alive, because I feel like they're setting up Sinister Six like so like obviously.
I don't know if they're going to go the Sinister Six route. I
mean, they have two of them right
now.
Two, yeah. Well, yeah, you got to get to 6.
I know. Yeah.
Well, they could technically have 3 if Mysterio's still alive.
Yeah, they could.
Wait, what would be the 3?
Wait.
Scorpion in the jail cell.
Oh yes,
Vulture.
yeah, I forgot about that, because even that end credit scene, he goes like, "I heard you're friends with somebody who knows Spider-Man or whatever. Do you know his real name?" And he says, "No." Now the real name's out there. I forgot about Scorpion.
Yeah. Can we also just briefly note that this is the first Spider-Man movie not in New York? Not basically almost entirely, which is insane when you think about it.
Oh, also a 4th could be Prowler, because he did talk to Donald Glover's character in the Homecoming, in the garage, and he was Miles Morales' uncle. So we're 4 for 6.
Oh, we are 4 for 6.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
It would be cool. It sucks that Sony still has Venom, but after introducing Peter Parker as a bad guy, if they went the black suit route and then had Venom appear and like them deal with Venom being evil, and that double down on the fact that Spider-Man is evil, that would be a cool route to go as well.
I would also love if they brought back Vincent D'Onofrio to play Kingpin and possibly be like in a Spider-Man movie, even if it was just for like 10 seconds. I feel like that'd be so raw.
Damn.
Hey, Marvel, hire us.
But like, they have so many directions they can go, and I would 100% agree with you that urgency after seeing the movie. I was like, I need to know what happens next. And I love these movies, don't get me wrong, but I was toward Thor Ragnarok and like Homecoming. Before seeing them, I was like, I don't know, I'm sort of getting Marvel fatigue. I don't know if I can do this anymore. But like Ragnarok and Spider-Man pulled me back in so much. And then like Black Panther was good, and Infinity War was just like, by the way, bomb drop. And so I had to go see Endgame. So I think what they're doing is very good, where they plant a seed and they say, hope you watch the next one. Like
They're just gonna let it settle, and make us overthink every single detail of that movie, rewatch it a million times until the next one comes out, which won't be for a long time.
Sorry, what is San Diego Comic-Con?
It's like Well, D24 is when they're going to announce the next phase of movies. And
Oh,
that's in
D24,
August.
okay.
Yeah.
In August, okay.
But
Well, they are going to Comic-Con this year, though.
something deep inside of me, well, Kevin Feige, he said that they would announce the next slate of movies at D24 this year.
Yeah, I just know they are at Comic-Con for some reason.
Something like very deep inside me was like, if all these movies just ended here on Endgame, I would be okay with it. Now, I'm not against having more movies, but I would be okay with it if they stopped here. But now that Spider-Man came out, they obviously can't stop. But I feel like I can see them going another 3 more phases because I mean, listen here, because they have to have another big baddie like Thanos, and I feel like they're gonna do.
They do now.
God Emperor Doom as like this final like baddie of all.
They also have Galactus.
I know that's what I'm saying. I feel like they're gonna do like Phase 4, maybe like Kang the Conqueror because they did the whole timeline thing. Phase 5, they could do Galactus, and then like just to end it all, just Doctor Doom because I mean he's at his power like most powerful when he's God Emperor.
Yeah, well, and because they own him now because of Fox.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, we want to do an over/under on how many years until Fantastic Four are brought.
I feel like next phase they would have to like, but like end of the phase, kind of like how they did like Ant-Man. They put like right after like a big Avengers movie. I feel like they would have to put Fantastic Four like after a big Avengers movie just so we could start like letting the groundwork begin for like Doctor Doom.
I would disagree just because the gap between someone like Ant-Man and people like the Fantastic Four is so large in terms of people already knowing the source material that I could see Fantastic Four being teased in an end credit scene near the tail end of Phase 4, and then that maybe being the first movie or second movie in Phase 5.
Well, I'm curious, sort of going along with the Fantastic Four thing, if they're going to how they're going to introduce mutants into the MCU.
Well, I was really hoping.
Because if they're dealing with mutants, if they've been around the entire time, why didn't they help? First of all, you know what I mean. Like if Professor X has been a thing, because Dark Phoenix was the end of that awful, like, train of X-Men movies.
The train scene though.
You really should call us X-Women now.
My thing was I was really hoping that Mysterio was from another multiverse like dimension because that's how they could bring in the X-Men, which I'm sure that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to be like, oh yeah, when Hulk snapped and brought everything back, it kind of like went wonky and some people just appeared in our universe. But would you want them to bring back the X-Men cast that they just finished off with, or would you just want a full-on reboot?
I think they should reboot.
Okay, I agree.
I mean, like, I see. What stinks is
but keep Deadpool.
Honestly, I would be okay with that. I liked I liked some of their casting decisions, but I think if they kept anybody, it would be too confusing. So if they're going to add X-Men, they need to reboot to make it effective. And it's the same thing with Fantastic Four, or give me Steve Rogers as the Human Torch again, and just like
The one recast in Asia.
Could your heart take like the recast of a new Wolverine, or would you not want Wolverine ever come back?
That's where this becomes really complicated.
Yeah.
Dun dun
You open that can of
dun.
worms, Wolverine kind of has to be there, which is why I think they're much more likely, I think, to do Fantastic Four before they do any of the
He
X-Men.
can just look like Steve Rogers. No one needs to question it.
No, we're talking about Wolverine, not Human
Oh,
Torch.
okay.
But for the Fantastic Four thing, they could do something with the Silver Surfer, him being like a galactic being, and like there could be a World 2 or whatever, which is how Fantastic Four could get involved.
I highly doubt that there is a link between any of the Ant-Man comics and Fantastic Four, but I don't remember what Lawrence Fishburne's character was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, or what his name was. I would just love it if for some reason he became the Silver Surfer. And then not only would you get his voice, you would get Lawrence Fishburne's body on the Silver Surfer.
Let's get Keanu Reeves for the Silver Surfer.
Honestly, that'd be pretty good.
Cool. Let's bring it slightly back a little bit to Far From Home.
We really went far from home there, didn't we?
We did a little bit, which is okay. It was a good conversation. Favorite moments from Far From Home?
Illusion sequences.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the bridge scene.
You know, I think this movie did Zendaya, Mary Jane, and Peter Parker a lot better than Homecoming.
Yeah. The Homecoming functioned to make you not know that she is MJ. Mm-hmm. Like, because that's why that last scene is important, where they're like doing roll, and somebody says Mary Jane, and she goes, "My friends call me MJ." Like that was a good introduction to a character that seemed important in Homecoming for no reason until the very end.
Favorite moment when Happy lands the plane in the flower field, and then Spider-Man is like, "Hey, stand back. Tell me something only you would know." And that this is what no. In reality, though, this is where their acting chops really do come out, because he's legitimately. It's just like in Spider-Man: Homecoming when he was trapped underneath the building and he was screaming help before he had to break free.
That classic scene, by the way, like that's a classic scene from the comic books, like lifting rubble, and it's alluded to in Civil War. I loved it. I'm so glad it was in Homecoming.
But this is another side, one, of course, of Tom Holland's acting ability coming out, but also Spider-Man's vulnerability. He has been incredibly, we're going to say, mind screwed. And mind screwed. And he doesn't know what's real anymore. And he's questioning all the reality that's around him, because he didn't know where he was, and then he thought he was safe, and then Nick Fury was, and ended up being Mysterio, and everything was just so incredibly questioned. And so him having to confront Happy like that and then break down emotionally, it was the most emotionally impactful moment of that movie, I think.
I would agree. Following that scene almost immediately, I think one of my favorite moments in the entire movie is when he's creating his new suit, and that iconic track plays that played for Tony when he's creating his suit. Like, it's so simple, but I literally jumped in my chair because like he earned that music. You know what I mean? Like, and him building his own suit, and then him like doing the same thing that Iron Man did, where he puts his hand in a glove / web shooters, like, because Iron Man did that, but then Happy looks back and sees him and smiles, and he goes, "What?" Like, it's him stepping up, and I loved it.
I also love that in this movie they went away from the Iron Spider look, because it worked for the Avengers movies, but I like that they went to more of the classic Spider-Man route when he wasn't, was a night monkey.
Yeah.
I am kind of sad that they took out that scene they showed in the trailers, though, where he's beating the burglars up. I think it was robbery, right? And he's in the Iron Spider suit. Like, I would have liked that, even like if they added like 2 mid-credit scenes. You know what I mean? Because it was cool.
Or had it like a little, like I thought that was required almost. And yes, Marvel does what Marvel does, and they make scenes for trailers, and I'm glad that they do that because it tricks you. They did that with Infinity War. They cut up the scene of them in the white suits for Endgame. Like, I'm glad they do things like that.
God, can you imagine if even one person, if everyone in Marvel just didn't do their job and they let the shot of fat long bearded Thor in the trailer just out of nowhere, not setting up anything, people will be like, "What in the hell is going on here?"
Yeah, that was probably like one of the best like reactions for that movie, was like with crowd reactions, was like Fat Thor. Like, people like went wild every time.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, I always clapped because I saw the movie 5 times in theaters. I always clapped when Captain America got the hammer.
Yeah.
But as like every movie showing I kept going to, people stopped clapping more and more for that scene. I'm like, why are you not clapping? This is so epic.
Yeah. Really quick, when they both call back hammers and Stormbreaker goes to Captain America, he goes, no, you get the small one. Like, they switch. Sorry, jump back on topic. Favorite moment in Far From Home. Did you say yours?
Yeah, the bridge scene when he's fighting Mysterio and he has his Peter tingle.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Oh, sorry, I thought you meant bridge scene like the London Bridge, but that scene, yes, his Peter tingle, as they
I didn't really enjoy that they kept bringing it up as Peter tingle. I don't know. Like, it was funny at first, and then like they just kept saying, and I was like, I'm just so used to hearing the word spider sense. I was like, please,
but they do say spider sense is tingling, so like, it's a part of it, and he's still learning who he is. I liked that they alluded to the fact, because even the first time he's brought up, like, and Tony looks at his eye things that he built, and he says like, it's way too much information. I can't take it all. I like that, because that is his spider sense. Like, he can't comprehend everything that's flowing into him. So I like that he still doesn't quite understand all of his powers, even though he's as good as he is.
Yeah. Someone told me that. Well, I read it. Someone was like, "Oh, why did he just all of a sudden lose his tingle sense?" And it was because apparently, like when he trusts people, he doesn't feel it. So when Aunt May throws the banana, he's like he's trusting of her, so he wasn't aware that it would come at him. And obviously, the reason why he didn't feel it when he was with Mysterio is because he was obviously very trusting of him enough to give him the Edith glasses. So that's why it never worked then. But obviously, it worked a lot later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, he obviously has not gotten to the point where he can trust his own abilities yet. I think he has now, but
More
before,
so,
when he first got the Edith glasses and tried to blow up his classmate, I think there's a learning curve.
That was one of the more, I don't want to say throwaway scenes, but I was just like, oh, this is definitely a sidetrack from what we're really trying to do here.
Yeah, definitely. I honestly miss his suit AI. Karen, I think he called her.
Yeah.
I hope that becomes a thing where he speaks to Edith like in the suit, because I mean Mysterio did that. He built it into his movie suit basically, because that's what it is. It's like a special effect movie suit that he wears.
Would you be okay with Tony being AI? Because there is Tony AI in the comics.
That does happen, and I how are we doing time wise? We should end pretty soon. But the whole hologram scene at the end of Endgame, the I Love You 3000 scene, I have a theory that there's a chance that is an artificial intelligence, because he looks directly at his daughter and says I love you 3000.
Yeah.
If it was a hologram, like, that wouldn't happen. I know it's a movie, and I know that could have just been like, we just have to plan it this way because it'll break hearts. But like, that would be really cool if eventually Tony becomes some sort of AI for somebody, and they either they go, hey, Robert Downey Jr., will you take a couple $1 million and spend 20 minutes in a sound booth? And he goes, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Or they just get a sound alike, which they do for every video game ever. Like, it would be cool. I don't know if they'll do it, but I would like if they did.
I would hope they would.
Me too.
Last thoughts on Far From Home before we finish up.
I didn't think I could be more anticipated for a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie after Infinity War, but now there's far and away, this is the hottest franchise that there is in Hollywood, and we really should appreciate it for what it is. I'm super excited for whatever they have next in store.
I like the location they chose, that it wasn't New York, it was somewhere else, specifically 3 different locations. And I like the fact that Spider-Man kind of became his own, or got a little more comfortable in his skin as a hero. And the script writing was, of course, amazing.
Yeah.
I loved it. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was, like, from all the Spider-Man reboot movies that we've had recently, it was the most Spider-Man movie that we've had, where it felt like Peter Parker was fighting with his social life and being a hero, and I thought it was a really good Spider-Man story, especially after you played Spider-Man PS4. You know that we require a good Spider-Man story now. Yeah. So, love that movie. I would watch it again when I can.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I enjoyed it a lot. Like you said, I don't think I've been more excited to see what happens next for a character since Infinity War. Good movie, great villain, great writing. Like, I mean, I always say you judge a movie based on its villain, which is why stuff like Infinity War and Endgame is so good, because Thanos is such a good villain. I think Mysterio was a great villain. And that's all I have to say about that. Cool. Really quick, short stuff before we say goodbye. If you are interested in our magazine or zine, we release a lot. There is a link to the digital version in the description below, along with our Spotifys and events coming up soon, so keep an eye out. And thank you for listening to the Sleeze. Bye.
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 Cool.